All right, you're welcome back. Yes, we still have Dr. Dan Ekere in the studio, and we've been joined by child rights activist Taiwo Akinlami. Good morning again, gentlemen.
Thank you so much for having
It's
me.
interesting that we have men to come talk about the girl child, and I happen to be the only girl child here. But let's take it from you.
Grown girl child.
Taiwo Akinlami, looking at that report and listening to what they had to say there, a lot of burden on the girl child.
That's right.
What would you say is the position, the status of the girl child now, not just globally, but especially as it concerns us right here in Nigeria?
When it comes to talking about the girl child, you know, today is the Day of the Girl Child.
Yes.
But again, it is important that we understand that principles are universal, applications are peculiar. The state of the girl child in Nigeria is different from the state of the girl child in other African countries and globally. It's been said that 1.1 billion, you know, girls all over the world. And we try to look at the higher percentage of our population today is populated by young people. So again, what are the issues that affect the girl child in Nigeria? I think the fundamental issue which you need to address is the belief system, our belief system as a people. What do we believe about children first of all? We treat children the way we see them. We treat them the way we see them the way we were seen when we were growing up. Now, the children specifically, whether boy or girl, are endangered. Now, not to talk of the girl child. Now, we're in a society where even those who are supposed to be educated, even those who are supposed to be well-traveled, even those who are supposed to be exposed, they still believe that the girl child is not a child. You know, the other day I was talking to my brother-in-law who lives in America. He's a Nigerian, lives within the Nigerian community in America. And he told me that I have 2 girls, and but within our community people here, they still believe I don't have children yet. That is people living in America, but America is not living in them. So the fundamental thing therefore is that you see someone who has a girl child who has a girl child who's looking for a boy child. You see, a woman came to me a few months ago. I was speaking at the program, and she came to me and said, and 2 girls were standing by her. She said, I could bet that my husband could die for me. I could bet that my husband loved me. One day, my husband slumped and died. We had 2 girls, and no sooner than he died, before the burial, the family showed up with a boy child and said, "This is the heir, the heir to the estate. This is the heir to the throne. These are your girls. We don't know where you brought them from." As far as they are concerned, girl children are not girl children. Now, it is just recently that the Supreme Court held that in the Igbo culture, the girl child cannot inherit. Now, just last year, so you look at just last 2017 or 2016, that's why the Supreme Court took that decision. Now, we're in the 21st century. Look at what women have done in this country. Look at women that are occupying, you know, positions of substance, position of influence, position of authority, and yet we do not believe that the girl child should be treated properly. Now, another thing is that there's a lot of pressure on the women in our community, particularly from the girl. So parents come back home, and when they get home, they see their boy child playing. And they see their girl child playing.
We'll come to that. Let's Dr. Dan Ekere.
I'm excited that Dr. Ekere is from the Ivory Tower. And the theme for this year's International Girl Child is "With Her is Skilled Girl Force."
Girl Force,
Interestingly, literacy has evolved from the traditional meaning of being able to, you know, read and write, into relevant knowledge and specific skills, competence, as it were. I'm concerned about what is being taught in our schools. You know, skills like transferable skills like self-confidence, problem solving, teamwork, critical thinking appears not to be dominant in our education system. How do you see us evolve to be able to empower the girl child using our schools?
Thank you. Well, in the first instance, from statistics, a lot of girls are in school these days. I think there's some level of consciousness growing in some part of the country that you now find a lot of girls in school. You see have this cultural issue that is here affecting
the Southwest.
But then coming to the issue of the training to the extent of gaining confidence and all of that, it's a function of disciplines as well. All right? Because, for instance, I have in philosophy, and we don't teach separate courses to
boys
and girls. They all do critical thinking. They all do creative thinking. So what you make of it is left to you. All right? You find ladies who are critically minded. Ngozi you can't tell me she's not critically minded. When she asks questions, those questions alone will tell you her level of, analysis and the extent to which she is, educated.
Yeah, but that's not even enough. That's not enough.
Now, when it gets to
the girl child her rightful place in society, whether it's in the ivory tower or
anywhere, anywhere at all,
or anywhere else. And speaking of which, I'll allow you to land on that. The issue of the education of the girl child, from Chibok to Dapchi to anywhere that you can imagine, the girl child education is even more under threat than the girl child.
They say that over 60% of the over 10 million out-of-school children in northern Nigeria are girls.
Good.
As a matter of fact, Kaduna State just gave free education from primary to secondary school for the girl child. I mean, trying to manage the rate at which our girl children don't go to school. Go to school in this part of the world.
Of about 10 million children out of school, over 60% or about 60% are girls.
Yes.
Now, the ones in school, have they equally given us the percentage of girls among them? Because that will guide us to know whether there are more
Progress
girls.
Is being made
yeah,
or
because, for instance, in my department, I know there are more girls than men.
Okay.
And how are they performing?
They are doing well. Some are, I mean, it's a function of, how well you use your intelligence. Because the same courses are taught under the same environment. But we are talking of peculiarities of women. That is a different issue entirely. When it comes to teaching in the class, you won't teach boys separate and teach girls separate.
That's understood.
But yes, but peculiarities of women, we know that they are more vulnerable. A lot of challenges around them. But at the same time, we equally do know that they are, in a way, very important. For me, I find the girl child more important, than even the male.
As a matter of fact, they say that critical to the advanced countries of the world is the education of the girl child.
Yeah, because for me, when you educate a man, you educate a woman, the chances are that the woman will have more, her level of exploration will be greater. Because she can penetrate circles more than the man. All right? Then when it even comes to caring again, in most cases, we found that the women are even more caring too.
That is, of course, not to say that, when we talk about the girl child empowerment or education and all of that, or gender parity for that matter, that we're talking about competition between the genders. That's not what it is.
No, it's not about competition.
You want to weigh in on this, especially when it comes to the education of the girl child.
We're looking at peculiarities now.
For me, you see, when we look at these matters, it is important that we look at the peculiarity of, first of all, not of the girl child, of the third world countries. Africa is a third world country. Now, the welfare and the security of the people shall be the primary aim of government. Now, when government fails in that instance, everybody is affected. Everybody is impacted. Now, the disadvantaged people in the society, depending on the belief system. Now, in the order of priority, till today, it might have advanced a bit. If a man wants to invest money in education of his children, wants to invest first in the education of the boy child before he invests in the education of the girl child. Now, when we talk about 60% of the 10.5 million Nigerian children are out of school in the northeast or in the north, they are 60% of them are girls. That tells you the percentage of how many girls that are out of school, and that gives you an impression of how many girls that are in school. Now, the challenge is this: when you look at all of these things critically, you begin to find that there is no deliberate effort on the side of stakeholders, government and other people, to ensure that we bring matters that has to do with children, girl child to the front burner. And this is another issue. The issue now is this. Now, there's now a lot of neglect that we have identified. Now, neglect in the area of education, neglect in the area of hygiene. We now find situations where people are going around trying to get sanity towel for girl child. Those are the girl children that are even in school. That is in a place as urban as Lagos State. Yeah. That some children are using, some girl children are using newspaper, they are using rag during their menstrual cycle. And there are NGOs now mobilizing and getting sanity towel for these girls in Lagos State. I'm not talking about Kaduna State. I'm not talking about a far place. Now, these are fundamental issues. So even when they are in school, so I went to a school in Manfoluku, a public school, 500 children, one toilet. So that's the toilet the girl child is going to use, and it's a pit latrine. And that's the toilet the boy child is going to use. And you forget that God created us differently. We are peculiar. Now, I don't know how we arrived globally at this thinking that sex makes you inferior. I don't believe, now, the male sex is not inferior to the girl to the female sex. Now, this female sex is not inferior to the male sex. We are created to play two different roles. I can never get pregnant, but my wife can get pregnant. Now, that does not make me superior, and that does not make my wife inferior. It's just that by virtue of the fact that we are different components, different compartments, there's a way we have to be treated.
So and ignorance is a huge...
ignorance is one thing, but stronger than ignorance is misinformation.
Okay. Cultural issues, really. Cultural issues are there, but peculiarities are the main issue which
Gentlemen, we really have to leave it there.
I do not see superiority and inferiority.
Yeah, wish we had enough time.
And of course, Taiwo Akelabi, thank you very much for joining us on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Gone are the days when you have people having 6 girls, because they want to keep trying until they have a male child.
Until they have a male child. And it's still happening.
In this age,
it's still happening. No.
But it's not gone at the days.
It's still happening. All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.